Hey everyone, this is another ASMR. It's purposely done in the dark so that the light doesn't bother you, so that maybe you can go to sleep when I tell you the story. This story is about Casey Jean. Casey Jean was a dog that a friend gave to us. She was a Lhasa Apso Poo. She looked like a dust mop. She was given to us because the previous owners, when they would have sex, the dog would holler, and they found this quite annoying. But then I always noticed that when my husband at the time and me would make love, this dog would never holler. I don't get it. I'm thinking the previous owner, the female of the pair, probably screamed a lot, I'm thinking. Well, Casey Jean did a lot of tricks, and because my husband at the time did a lot of tree work, he would come in contact with a nest of baby squirrels. The mother was nowhere to be found, so he would bring the squirrels home, and I would try to nurse them and put them on a heating pad. And I noticed that Casey Jean became their mother. She would lick them and care for them. It was quite remarkable. But Casey Jean had this bad habit, or maybe it was a good habit. She would bark at police officers. It's the only people that she ever barked at was just the cops. Very strange, I thought. Another remarkable thing about Casey Jean is I brought home this little kitty cat, and I named her Kit Kat. Kit Kat lived for 26 years, and Casey Jean taught Kit Kat to use the bathroom outside. We never had a litter box. Kit Kat never had a litter box because Casey Jean taught her to go outside. Casey Jean, when we moved to a house in Weems, Virginia, all of a sudden she'd be missing for weeks at a time. And I found out she was living at a neighbor's house. Maybe she found them more interesting. I don't know. Or maybe it's because I was always working a lot and she was lonely. I don't know. But one day we moved to Florida, and the fleas are really bad in Florida. Very bad. It was like a full-time job just keeping the fleas off of her. And then we were in Vero Beach doing a Mexican tile job. And I took Casey Jean. Now, she loved Raisinets, the chocolate-covered raisins. And I remember playing with her on the ocean and the sand. She was so happy, so very, very happy. She was running across the sand, and I was giving her a couple of my Raisinets. And then I remember going back in to help lay some Mexican saltillo tile. And there was a swimming pool in front of the house that was encased with a screen door. It had screen all the way around it. And I noticed that the screen door didn't shut all the way. And I noticed some dogs barking next door. All of a sudden, a little bit later on, it was the Thanksgiving holidays. We were working on Thanksgiving. All of a sudden, a woman drove up the driveway, and she was holding Casey Jean. Casey Jean, she said, was walking down the side of the road, and she hit Casey with her car, and Casey had a broken neck, was dead immediately. I remember putting her in my lap and making the drive home. I don't think I have ever cried so much in my life. And then we needed to bury her, but I refused to bury her. I wanted to look at her. Finally, after about 2 weeks, I had to make the decision, and I buried her behind our house. She lived for like 13 years, I believe. She brought so much joy into all of our lives. So that's the story of Casey Jean. I guess the moral of the story is, don't let your dogs run free. Make sure the doors latch. So the next time I got a dog, I always kept it on a leash, as much as I could, of course. But I still miss Casey Jean to this day. So I hope you liked my story. Good night.